Welcome to episode 6 of the Slab Sharks podcast. As always, I'm your host, G, and I'm joined today by Evan. Evan, our friend from the prairies, the western provinces. How you doing today?
Doing well yourself?
Not bad, not bad. So, Evan, I've been talking to everybody at the office and everyone who's kind of been part of the Slab Sharks team. So why don't you just give everybody a little bit of a, story or kind of how you became part of the Slab Sharks team?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been big into cards my whole life. Really got into them kind of 4 or 5 years ago, flipping, buying, selling, just seeing kind of the evolution of different companies in the business. Obviously, Slab Sharks has been probably the quickest growing and most successful one that I've seen in Canada, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I just reached out to Karn, kind of known him through shows and whatnot. I set up with you guys at the expo.
That's right.
Previously,
you were with us.
Yeah. And I just asked him if there's any opportunity to work with you guys, and I was really happy that there was. And yeah.
Yeah, you caught us at a real busy time, especially after the expo. I'm sure, as everybody knows, expo is always a crazy time for us, right? And so we were very happy for the help at that time, and you fit right in. We're like super happy to have you. You're a great worker, doing everything. Plus, your passion for like sports cards and all that clearly shines through and everything like that. So we're happy that you're part of the team. So as long as I'm sure we don't tell you that enough. So
no, I appreciate
now that it's on camera, you know that it's true. That we're very happy to have you. You said that you've been collecting cards and stuff for a long time. Was it always just like hockey cards? I know that's big for you now, but like, was it always that, or was it other stuff too?
Yeah, I think I hockey mainly for sure. I did branch into other sports, basketball and football mainly. I remember pulling a Travis Kelce rookie autograph once from like a blaster box when I was probably 8 years old, because his rookie year was 2013.
I always forget how young you are.
I always forget. Reverse aging myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you're outing your age here on the podcast.
Yeah, so that was I definitely dabbled in other sports, but as you'll see as I show some of my collection, it is mainly hockey. It's what I'm most comfortable buying and selling and collecting. So yeah.
You played hockey too, right? Like it was.
Yeah, actually, I still do.
You still do?
Yeah,
okay.
Back home in Calgary, I play junior B, so that's fun. Just
what team?
Stay with it. I play for the Northwest Bruins.
Northwest Bruins. Shout out Northwest, not shout out Bruins. Sorry.
Yeah, not the Bruins. Yeah,
but
Leafs.
Yeah,
Northwest Leafs.
Shout out the Northwest Leafs. Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. So you've kind of been like collecting hockey cards and other cards and stuff too, but the hockey has been kind of part of your grow up, like your childhood and growing up and everything like that.
Yeah. Like there's no cards without hockey for me, right? Like the pillar of collecting is the love of the sport and other sports as well, right? So
yeah. Okay, cool. Is there like any card that you've always been like, this is my holy grail card? What would be your like, no, I want this card. This is the card that I gotta have.
Honestly, like we chatted about this probably a couple months ago, and I know you owned it previously, but it's probably the Connor McDavid Aztec Young Guns.
Yeah.
I just think he's wearing the retro orange jersey. Such a cool card, the Aztec design, and it just seems so unattainable. Like in the aspect of like they rarely pop up, and when they do, it's from a very shrewd collector who knows what they want, and it's not always the price you want to pay. So definitely a card that'd be pretty cool to own.
If we were closer, it's been a couple of years now since I got rid of it.
Yeah.
If we were closer then, maybe I would have sold it to you, but. Yeah, that's too bad. I didn't realize that was your holy grail. I know we were talking about how you love that card and it was such a cool card, but I didn't realize that would be your like one card if you could have right now. That would be the
that's probably number one. Yeah.
Wow. Now I feel bad about getting rid of it.
You should have known me
before.
Get to
know you. Yeah, exactly. You should have approached us earlier. That's cool. That's a good card. It is one of those cards where like they don't show up ever. You just have to. I just happened to kind of luck into it. Actually, it was through Karn. He made the connection or whatever for me to get that card. And so, yeah, I was happy to have it. Beautiful card. Yeah, maybe it'll come around again. If I ever see one around, I'll hit you up and let you know. Yeah, so that's something that you've been chasing. What do you have right now that you brought some stuff in with us, right?
Yeah,
let's take a look at some of that stuff.
So I guess first card, we got a Cale Makar, limited logos.
Other way. There you go. Yeah, it's backwards.
What thing I love about this card?
The Cale Makar limited logos. Yeah.
Rookie patch auto.
Beautiful patch.
Thing I love about limited logos is the only rookie set that's game used patches. Big patch window, and then just me being a kid from Calgary, it's cool to see like someone this good at hockey representing Calgary. I got a meet him at his cup party when he
Oh,
brought the
yeah?
cup home in Calgary, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, most of the love gets to the Torontonians. You know, you guys got McDavid and whatnot, but Cale McCarr's our big player that's from here.
I mean, he is arguably, like, not arguably, I think it's pretty clear that he's one of the best players in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
He's insane, and he's still so young. So we'll see how that goes. But speaking of limited logos and patches of game worn stuff, I heard there's a card that you regret selling.
Oh,
yes. A little bird told me that there's some card that you have or you had, and it's one of your regrets. What card was that?
Yeah, so that was a Connor McDavid limited logos rookie patch auto with the oil drop.
Yeah.
Probably the best patch you can get in that set. I stumbled upon it. I felt like I traded and cash into it. Like I felt like I got a really good deal for it. I was happy. Didn't really have any plans to move it initially, but then I got an offer that at the time would have pretty much 2x'd what I paid for on it. So I'm like, wow, you got to take your profits. That being said, had I held on, I probably could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice, but you don't want to regret because the profit I made was pretty good. And I can't complain.
That's a very mature way to look at it.
Yeah.
Let's look at it the immature way for a second, just to make you feel worse about yourself.
Yeah.
What was the trade that you traded in for?
So to trade for it?
No, the one what you gave it up for.
So at the time, I moved it for a BGS 9.5 True Gem Future Watch of McDavid.
Okay.
And I think 1,500 cash. And that at the time, McDavid Future Watches and 9.5s are doing like 23,000, like way more than they are doing today.
Yeah.
This is like peak. So I'm like, wow, I'm getting like close to 25,000 for this card.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty insane for what I'm into it for.
Yeah.
I was into it for like 14,000.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta make a move on it, but no. Thankfully, I moved the Future Watch at that value.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine
you weren't stuck with that.
if I moved the Future Watch at what they're worth today.
Yeah.
I'm
that would have been
losing
even
money,
worse, right?
Like so. But yeah, unfortunately, that was probably the biggest regret. Was it a Chris Bassett?
A Chris Bassett reveal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have revealed that to me.
Yeah.
He might have told me about
416.
that. Yeah, 416 coming with the facts. But just to rub salt in the wound a little further, what is that oil drop worth right now?
Honestly, it's tough to say. I don't have any like comps on top of my head, but I think if I do remember correctly, one had sold for in the 40 to 50 range of similar patch.
Oh yeah.
Oil
drop?
I think it was an oil drop, or it was like a bad patch that had sold for like in the 20s. So then people kind of were like, "Oh, okay, the oil drop's got to be worth, that much more." So I don't want anyone to quote me on it, but it definitely like there was a comp out there that kind of showed that I definitely missed out on a bigger opportunity.
Well, just to keep throwing Chris under the bus here, his evaluation of what that card is worth right now was closer to 80. Currently.
Oh wow.
80K.
See, so maybe I'm just trying.
But he might be wrong.
Yeah.
He's not the almighty with the values there. He's pretty good with it usually, but I just had to throw that out there because I know there's a little bit of a competition between the two of you.
Yeah.
You guys are both headed to the national tomorrow.
Yeah.
Together, right? Is this your first national?
This is my second.
Your
actually.
second.
I was in Chicago last year as well. So
Chicago's a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. Chicago National is a good time. This year's Cleveland.
Yeah. Don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's never been to Cleveland before, but I know there's certain things that people like. There's
a lot of things that people dislike about Cleveland.
Yeah,
I don't want to like shit on Cleveland too hard, but I have been there a couple times and it's not been anything special as a city in general. Chicago, at least, it's like the city itself is like a lot of fun regardless. Yeah. But the Nationals is always a great time, so it doesn't matter where it is.
That's what we're there for.
Yeah,
right?
That's what we're there for. So it's gonna be amazing. Unfortunately, I'm not going this year. I'm missing out, but you're gonna go there. Is there anything you're specifically hunting for, or are you looking for, or anything you want to do with the National?
Well, just kind of to segue what we talked about previously, I'd love to get a nice LeBron card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I owned a LeBron rookie auto for a second. And I sold.
You had a rookie auto.
Yeah,
Which one?
I split it with Chris. It was the horizontal one from SP Authentic, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. I actually sold it to Karn.
You sold it, because Karn's collecting those.
And that just like I'd love to own a LeBron card because I remember a teacher of mine gave me a 2005 Topps LeBron card, just a base card from his third year. But I think it'd be pretty cool to own like a Topps Chrome maybe like a refractor of that card or something, just to give,
Oh,
because
of
I
that
still
one?
have
Yeah.
the card that he gave me, just the
Yeah.
base card, just to that, because that's the nostalgic part for me. Because I remember the day he gave it to me,
Hmm.
I thought I was a millionaire because I got a LeBron card. No idea
Yeah.
about values
Yeah.
when I'm young, but so that'd be pretty cool, I think.
Okay. It's funny you bring up LeBron. That's what we wanted to do. We were
Yeah.
having a discussion earlier today in the office. It got a little heated amongst everybody,
Yeah.
as these conversations often do. But talking about greatest of all time, you know, those conversations always happen amongst guys when you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And you were pretty adamant about LeBron James being the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah. So I mean,
Are you prepared to defend that to
you know,
everybody who's going to
to
be
my best
talking
ability,
smack to you about this?
to my best ability, I will. I mean, you know, just as to preface, like LeBron, obviously, he started playing in 2003. I'm born in 2005. He's been the best player in the league since before I was born. Michael Jordan, I didn't even get a whiff of how he played. So obviously there is a bias there.
So you're right now you're doing that thing where you're trying to minimize people.
Yeah.
people coming after you for
yeah.
your opinion right now.
But at the same time, come at me, you know, because I wanna hear why I'm right and why I'm wrong, you know. So
okay,
hear
well,
both sides.
well, tell me, why do you think? Well, like this is a. I wasn't really planning on getting into this too much, but
Yeah.
now that we're here, you said come at me, so let's go. Why do you think LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Well, you know, first off, we got longevity. He's been in the league for 21 years. He's almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
He's still scoring at a great rate. He's 27 points a game this year on a
yeah.
bad Los Angeles
Oh,
Lakers team.
okay.
He's shooting the best he's ever had from three. So
Yeah.
he's adjusting his game. You know, he knows he's not as athletic. He's not as explosive, but he's able to still be as effective as he was when he had those abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's in a super, like, social media is scrutinizing him, his every move. You know, people believe that he's a flopper. These are his haters. They believe he's a flopper, complainer. But people have done digging and seen, you know, MJ, looking at his clips, and he was the same way.
I don't think anybody disagrees with the fact that MJ was looking for calls from referees all the time.
Yeah.
There was like that idea that MJ had different set of rules. That was around since MJ was playing.
100%.
So I don't think you can use that part to be like every great player has, you know, that kind of hate.
Yeah.
Like about, oh, he's a flopper or he's complaining to the refs and stuff because people play harder against the best player on the other team. Happened to Jordan, happens to LeBron. So you can't say the flopper argument. I mean, people would call Jordan flopper when he was getting clotheslined.
That's
so
true.
I don't know about that. The longevity part, okay. I mean, that's a interesting thing to talk about in terms of, you know, like he's been able to compete at a very high level for a long time. Can't take that away.
Yeah.
But then technology is different now than it was back then,
Yeah,
man.
that's true. I don't think technology's as developed as it was. Like, you know, hockey, huge different, right? Skates are insanely different.
Yeah.
Sticks are insanely different. But with basketball, obviously there's a little bit better shoe technology, but otherwise
Oh,
basketball's the
okay,
same,
let's
courts
not-
are the same.
Okay, no, that's not exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, for example, it was revolutionary that that Jordan was getting up early and working out.
Fair enough.
That was
Fair enough.
revolutionary at the time,
Yeah.
right? That seems crazy now. Like every player has to work out every day now. That's just what they do. You start working out when you're a kid when you're trying to get into the NBA, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So things like that. So you can't really quantify that as just the shoe technology. That's
Yeah,
not what I'm talking
that's
about.
true. That's the argument coming in. I try to just play the one side for
Yeah.
the LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that you're a LeBron stan. I personally have it at a 1A, 1B. And I know Derek is kind of with me on that. Derek's here again. But he's also kind of with me on that where I'm not a LeBron hater. I think LeBron is incredible basketball player. And people who tell me that they think he's the best of all time or greatest of all time, I don't think that they're taking crazy pills. But I don't think he's better than Jordan. He hasn't necessarily earned that level of greatness yet. It might happen, might change, maybe after he retires. We were talking about this earlier that he's one of the only athletes that we have in the conversation for greatest of all time that is actually currently playing, right? In almost
Yes.
every other sport, greatest of all time, only that discussion happens after they've retired. But Jordan was also one that as soon as he was in the league, everyone was like, this is the greatest person to ever touch basketball.
Yeah. So obviously it works both ways, right? Like every time you make an argument for LeBron, there can be an argument against him for the same reason as Jordan. So I do get it, and I, like you said, it's a 1A, 1B situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, you know, my 1A is LeBron, and most people's 1A is probably Jordan.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
makes
you were a
sense.
little more passionate earlier. I guess now you're toning it down for
Yeah,
the,
no,
for
you
the
know,
for the cameras.
I
That's
know
fine.
I'm
That's
learning.
fine.
I'm learning from the best. You know, I wish Karn came in for that assistance right now. He would
Oh
give me
yeah.
those LeBron facts and
Oh yeah. Karn is big on the LeBron. He's also willing to admit that that's his subjective opinion, and
yeah,
he doesn't think people who think Jordan's better is crazy. But he's another one in the office. It was just you two. Everybody else said Jordan. Just the two of you talking about it. The statistics about going to the finals and stuff, and he's like, well, so yeah, an argument that a lot of people have for Jordan is that like LeBron lost so many times in the finals. He doesn't have that clutch killer mentality, Mamba mentality, or whatever that like, for example, Jordan and Kobe had. That it was just killer instinct. But he made a good point that Jordan didn't make it to the finals every year, and those years that he didn't make it to the finals, he lost. So what's the difference in losing in the finals versus losing in the second round to Detroit, for example?
yeah,
Right? So it's a good argument. I still think that Jordan's better. It's I did watch Jordan play a little bit. I mean, I saw him when he was on the Wizards, so it's not
Still
really
counts.
not really his prime, but it still counts. And I've watched a lot of highlights and stuff, and there's just a different animal inside of Jordan, in my opinion. Again, I might get roasted in the comments for this too.
yeah. We'll see. I'm
We'll
excited.
see. Yeah, we'll see. I still think Jordan's better, but
Yeah.
if someone told me LeBron, I wouldn't be thinking they're crazy.
Yeah. Well, we should probably segue into the NHL rankings.
Oh yeah, NHL rankings.
Yeah.
Well, first we were talking about NBA rankings, right?
Yeah.
I guess you and I are not necessarily as well versed in the NBA side of things. That's how we got to this conversation, actually, just for everybody back home listening. We were talking about the NBA rankings, top 10. Derek had an interesting top 10 that was different than one of our other guys in the office. And we had a little discussion about that, whether or not Kobe's in the top 10. Whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
I'm just going to out Derek right now. Derek did not have Kobe in his top 10 all time. You wanna chime in and defend yourself here a little bit, or you're just going to accept that? All right, yeah. Give us. Why don't we get your list? Why don't we get Derek's list right now? Top 10.
Okay, so this is my top 10 NBA player list of all time. So 1, I have Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
2 is LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
3 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
4 is Magic. 5 is Larry Bird.
Okay.
6 is Wilt. 7 is Bill Russell. 8 is Duncan.
Okay.
9 is Shaq. And 10 is Hakeem. Kobe 11.
Mm. Okay. I mean, that's a lot of good names that you threw up there. So I don't think anybody's gonna hate on the other names on that list. It's just the fact that you have maybe Hakeem over Kobe, or maybe the fact that you have Wilt higher than Shaq. I don't know. Because what are the ESPN rankings? ESPN rankings, I think we saw that was like Jordan, then LeBron, then Kareem.
They had someone crazy high that Derek did.
No, but they just had Shaq higher. They had Shaq and Kobe both up there, but he's looking it up. All right, Derek's looking it up for us right now. But when he did it, while he does that, I couldn't possibly give like a top 10 list that I'm comfortable just being like, this is what I'm so strong on, because I'm not that huge into basketball as hockey I am for hockey. So we can talk about hockey a little bit more. All right, let's see. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan. So no Shaq, no Kobe. No, that doesn't make sense. We saw Kobe on the list.
Yeah, it was Kobe 9, Shaq 10.
Kobe 9. Oh, that wasn't 10. Yeah, Kobe 9, Shaq 10. So Kobe over Shaq on that list. Okay. All right. So, yeah, everyone has a subjective list. Everybody's got their idea of who's better, who's not better. Whatever. It's all subjective.
That being said, I think I can make a comfortable top 5 for hockey all time.
All time to hockey top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Gretzky at the 1, that's just typical. No one's going to dispute that, I think, at this point.
I don't know. We had someone in the office dispute that today.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I'm just joking. Continue.
We got Bobby Orr at the 2.
You got Bobby Orr at 2 all time.
Yeah.
Okay, you Bruins fans would agree with you.
Yeah, and then we got Lemieux 3.
Okay.
Howe 4.
Okay.
And then Crosby 5.
Crosby.
Yeah, I think
list.
Crosby's done enough to cement himself in the top 5. He's got 2 back-to-back 90-point seasons as a now 36-year-old.
Is he 36 now?
I think he's turning 37.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's getting up there in age, but he's not stopping performance-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And And if you look back in the 2011 season, like when he was getting his concussions, like the stats he was putting up, 20 games, he got 40 points kind of thing. Like imagine if you had that prime. Obviously we can't say, if he had the prime.
No. Yeah.
But if he had more of his prime to play, and he's already done all that he's done, I think he's got the 3 cups now. I think he cemented himself in the top 5.
That argument there, though, then you would have to you should probably put Lemieux higher because he went through some stuff in his career too.
That is true. I think Lemieux could go above Orr for sure. It's a 2A 2B situation.
Okay. Interesting. I don't necessarily disagree with that list. Crosby, I mean, I think Crosby could be on that list at number 5.
Do you have a list that you have in mind?
I don't actually have a list in mind because hockey to me is so different for each era. It's like pre-salary cap, post-salary cap is completely different hockey. The style of play, just the way the game has evolved, getting less physical and then getting physical again, and the goalie technology, pads changing, and then offside rules and everything that just happened to make the game more. It got too boring for a little bit, and then now they're trying to go back and get more scoring, right? So it's so different to be like, if Gretzky played in this era, would he be the best player in the NHL right now?
So tough to say, right?
It's tough to say.
Yeah.
You can't really compare the two. I know this is going to get some hate, but I personally think that if he played in the current era, he wouldn't be as dominant as he was in his era because his game fit perfectly the way the game was played back then.
100%.
That's not to take away from him being the greatest of all time, possibly, because his statistics and his records are never going to be touched. Well, maybe the goal scoring one, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. But other than that, you can't really compete with those numbers. But is he really the most skilled hockey player of all time?
I think you can say definitively not, but
Definitively not.
But with that being said, like you said, the technology creates so much discrepancy that it's hard to really pinpoint it. But like you just look at someone like McDavid, and he's like objectively the best hockey player we've seen, fastest, best hands. He's so cerebral. But then people would argue if you gave Gretzky that equipment and the training methods and all that, would he match it or be better?
Well, Gretzky's never going to have the speed of McDavid. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's true.
Like we were talking about it earlier. Gretzky wasn't even fast in his era.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fast skater in his era. So there's no way he'd be as fast as McDavid. In terms of the cerebral part of the game, Gretzky was insane. Like the way he would find lanes for the passing and stuff like that. But again, when he would score goals, like it would just be he would never lift the puck. That's a common little troll that people talk about. But it's true. His goals are all along the ice.
Yeah.
And that would not be you can't score on a butterfly goalie like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those conversations again where it's like, ooh, I don't know. I don't want to upset people by saying this, but like, I don't know if he would be the most skilled player right now. And you said definitively not, so that's more of a stance.
Yeah. Obviously, like again, I don't want to back off because I do think McDavid is the most skilled player of all time, and that's coming from a Flames fan, which I don't like to say it, but I can't see Gretzky being better, but obviously we'll never know because
we won't.
Yeah.
And you got to respect Gretzky for what he's done. I mean, yeah. And I mean, we got a preview, kind of, not a preview, but a little bit after the game changed in his later years in LA, and he wasn't the same Gretzky.
Yeah, that is true.
He was still a great hockey player. He was still amazing, but he wasn't Oilers Gretzky. And we are all saying like, oh, he was getting old and his career was coming to an end, but he was in his mid-30s, right? He was Crosby's age.
Yeah.
And Crosby's like throwing up 90 points a season, last 2 seasons. I mean, Gretzky did have that 91-point season in back then, I think.
Yeah, he was scoring 90 points.
He was scoring 90 points-ish, right? Back then when he was on the Kings, but I mean that was the era of the 150 pointers. I mean, again, this year again, we're back there again, I guess.
But we keep flip-flopping.
Keep flip-flopping, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those ones I can't make a definitive comment. I just think it's crazy for people to just automatically be like, yeah, as you said earlier, oh, Gretzky's number 1. That's never going to change. That's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think McDavid could change it though,
You don't even have him in your top 5.
Well, he's played 10 years? Not even 10 years, 9 years. He's got a long ways ahead of him.
Yeah, he does. But Chris, you and Chris are both on that on the same side now. We're Crosby over McDavid, huh?
No, all time obviously, right? All time we'll put Crosby, but then like most skilled, McDavid.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I right now already have McDavid over him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was just to get people upset again. No, yeah, that was a good conversation we had earlier, man. It gets nice and heated in the office.
Yeah.
We get to talk. It's good to have you back here you're just it's just a happenstance that you were on your way to the national.
Yeah, no,
stop by here
for sure.
And we put you to work again just for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
How was that again? How was it?
No, it's great. Like, it's been a couple months since I've been in the office with the boys, and it's just great to be back. Like, it feels like second home to me, right? It's 4,000 kilometers away, but it feels like right there. So it's great to be back, and you guys made me feel welcome. Like again, like
even though you're a Flames fan.
Yeah, even though I'm a Flames fan, you know.
Speaking of which, we got more cards from your collection. Actually, we just started. We went off on that tangent after you brought the Kill McCarr limited logos out. But let's see some more of the stuff you got.
Sure. We'll start with Mackenzie Weegar High Gloss Young Guns. He is PSA 10.
PSA 10. Yeah,
he is the remaining of the Matthew Tkachuk trade. That happened 2 years ago, yesterday. Unfortunately.
Oh, you got it down like that.
Yeah, it's a tough memory for us Flames fans, but he's been great. 20 goals last year as a D-man on a really bad Flames team. So
really bad Flames team. I'm glad you said it, so I didn't have to say.
Yeah, no, we don't have to be told. We know. And then just continuing on with some of the personal collection.
Yeah.
These are some red outburst cards.
Ooh, the color match.
First off is a Dustin Wolf Young Guns.
Yeah.
We hope for him to be the future.
The next Kiprusoff?
Hopefully. He looks great. He's going to get starting role this year, hopefully, with Markstrom traded to the Devils.
How do you feel about that, by the way?
I love it.
Love it?
You look at how other goalies, their values, like we got a first-round pick for Markstrom and a decent defenseman. He's an old goalie, and people forget 2 years ago in the first year Huberdeau was here, so 22, 23, he was unplayable. Like he's the reason we didn't make the playoffs. So
you're gonna throw that on him?
Markstrom, yeah, I would.
I mean, he definitely had an off season, but
yeah, he was brutal.
That was the reason you guys missed the playoffs.
I think it was. So and so the fact that we're able to salvage value for him, where I think a year previous he would have been untradeable. I'm very happy, and it gives a guy like Wolf a chance to show what he's made of.
You got the belief in Wolf, huh?
Big time, yeah. I hope he proves me right. Another guy that's a younger.
Here, I got it.
Piece. Oh yeah, you gotta help me out there.
Yeah.
Matt Coronado, PSA 10 Red Outburst. He's hopefully gonna be a big part of their forward core. He played
You think
at Harvard.
He's gonna make a difference?
You know, you never know. Like he could just be like a regular top 6 forward or top 9 forward, but hopefully he's a 30 goal scorer, maybe 40 goal scorer in his prime. We'll see.
In his prime, when do you think that's going to be?
A few years down the road.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, but that's me wishful thinking. If he can be a good, 20, 30 goal scorer, I'll be happy.
Where did he get drafted?
13th overall.
Okay.
2021.
Okay.
He played at Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard.
Yeah, which is
NCAA guy.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Smart guy, huh?
Yeah.
Puck IQ, I guess, is high.
Yeah. And then I guess the last one I'll show here is
Well, you got some more though. Oh, you don't want to talk about
Oh no, sure. We'll go with him.
Yeah, let's go. There's another rookie here.
He's a bit of a lost
What can you say about him? Yeah, I was gonna say.
He was hurt most of this year. This is Jacob Peltier.
Yeah, Peltier.
His young gun route outburst. There's a big theme here. I love the route outburst. I think
Color match.
Upper Deck did a great job, and then obviously with the Flames being red, I think it looks great. He'll probably just end up being like a third, fourth liner, gritty guy.
AHL boy.
Yeah, maybe AHL as well. Probably spent a few too many dollars on this card for him to be an AHL guy, but
it's okay. It looks good at least.
Yeah, it does look good with the Blasty jersey too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I am happy with the card despite him not being the greatest player.
Well, you went with a 9, PSA 9 on this one, so you didn't have to spend too much money.
I did grade it, unfortunately.
Oh, you graded it?
Yeah, I graded all these.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why it's. Yeah, I wish I got the D's so that I could be a little happier, but it's
okay.
all good.
It's okay. It looks good, part of your collection. You got a couple more red outbursts.
Yeah, I'll just show the last two so we don't bore the people too much. But big theme, obviously, the collection. I just love the red on red, and this is a Mackenzie Weegar
again, yeah.
And it's just I love it because it's a relatively inexpensive card. Like I bought this one for like $10.
Yeah.
Graded it, so I'm into it for like $35, and that's a price I'm more than happy to pay for a card. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I mean, if this is just for your personal collection,
Big time,
then
yeah.
who cares, right?
Yeah, like that.
I mean,
The red outbursts
the
are
red
for
outbursts,
sure
yeah.
a part of the collection, just because it's something I don't have to worry about too much, right?
Yeah.
In terms of values.
And what's the last one?
Last one is the captain,
Oh.
Michael Backlund.
Your boy.
Yeah, he's the captain of the sad boys, but
I love that sigh that you had before you said the captain.
yeah,
He's the
it's like, well, you know,
captain.
you got the Oilers, who's their captain? Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
You got Avalanche, who's their captain? I guess Landeskog, but there's teams with like these captains that are like, man, this guy brings a lot of oomph, and then ours is just Michael Backlund. But you know, he's been a part of the
Put some
squad.
respect on his name, bro.
Yeah, I know. Been a part of the squad for 17 years, I guess. So
Yeah, he's earned his stripes, bro.
yeah, 30 points a year.
30 Hey, he's consistent.
Consistent
You
30
can't
point guy.
take that away from him.
Yeah.
He's consistent and he's gritty.
Loves the city, and there's not many.
Does he love the city?
And there's not many that do love the city. So
Now you're shitting on your whole city.
yeah, you know, I was a part of the theme of the pod. So
yeah, just shitting on Calgary. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying though. I mean, we kind of have a little bit of that in Toronto. When Tavares came, he was still kind of a star. I mean, he was a star.
yeah, 11 million. You'd hope he'd be a star, right?
Okay. This is the shit on Calgary party. Not the shit
It's
on
true,
Toronto.
that's
We do
true.
that every week. But yeah, I get it what you're saying. That we Derek can't even hold it. He's laughing over there. Yeah, I mean, it probably hurts as well that you got the superior hockey team and city right there with Edmonton.
I would say superior hockey team. Leave out the superior city, but
Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll give you that. But yeah, I'll give you that.
appreciate it.
I do say though that I was pleasantly surprised with Edmonton. I was expecting just completely just the worst city in
Yeah,
Canada.
it's definitely not a bad city, but
No, it's fun. Good like diverse population, nice like the downtown was pretty nice. Some areas not so much, but that's with every city. I
yeah,
guess.
they got the River Valley. I'll give them that, you know. But
Yeah, they got
No.
a nice cactus club.
yeah, maybe not even a cactus club. who
They
knows?
do.
They do. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah. That was a joke. We were walking by. I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." But Calgary, yeah, they got the Stampede and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
you guys got your whole Texas is the north vibe going on.
Yeah,
over there.
mountains. Give us that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're close.
yeah. 45 minute drive from my house. Not too
Okay,
bad.
okay,
Yeah,
all right. So, yeah, it's a nice area around Calgary, we'll say.
Yeah. I guess one last tidbit on the Flames is I'm pleasantly excited about, you know, their future. I think they're making steps towards a rebuild, which will eventually kind of lead to hopefully a good team in the future, because they've always kind of my whole life been mediocre.
Don't you kind of need like a cornerstone for a rebuild though? You guys gonna do it around Dustin Wolf?
I don't know if it's Dustin Wolf. I mean, they did draft Zane Preck this year. He had 30 goals as a 18-year-old as a D-man in the OHL.
Yeah.
He's pretty dynamic.
Obviously,
Obviously,
OHL is inflated for D-men.
That is true.
Scoring numbers always.
so yeah, I'm not counting on him necessarily being like the guy, but I
Mm.
think there's a chance he could be. But you know, if they get a few good years drafting in, I think there's a chance they'll be okay. Because my whole life they've been mediocre. They've won 2 playoff rounds in 19 years.
Oh yeah, I guess. Oh, I keep
'Cause-
forgetting how young you are.
Yeah, I guess 04 was the cup run. 05 was when I was born.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, damn.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's-
you don't even have that like love for Jerome McGinley and stuff, do you?
Iggy did play like when I was younger, so
Yeah.
I do like him. But yeah, definitely not. I didn't see him in his prime.
So
really.
even Kiprusoff is before your time. Like I mean, you were
Somewhat,
watching it, but
yeah.
like
I was
but-
like 5-6 years
yeah,
old.
yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy. 'Cause
Yeah, so
you guys
my-
had a good team at one point.
Yeah, so I guess I grew up with like Gaudreau and Kachuk were like my
Gaudreau
guy.
and Kachuk.
So that's how I was pretty
Both
devastated.
guys who are just still with the Flames. Is that?
No,
is that- oh
unfortunately
no,
not.
they're not. Oh, okay.
One's a Stanley Cup champion.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. One is a Stanley Cup champion. When did that happen?
You know, he made a good decision.
Yeah,
Live in
yeah.
Florida, tax free, win the cup. You know, I'd
Yeah.
probably do that too.
Yeah. I guess anywhere outside of Calgary, huh?
Yeah,
So I'm guessing you were sad when he left.
I was pretty devastated.
Was
yeah.
he your boy? Was he your best favorite player on the team at the time?
Yeah, I'd say Kachuk was definitely my favorite player. You know, he was like a heart and soul guy, and
Mm.
when he was here, he loved it. And I think management didn't handle it the right way. And
No.
then when he got the chance to kind of make that decision, obviously Gaudreau had already left, so he probably was like, you know, Gaudreau's gone.
What happened to
Why
Gaudreau,
don't I
man?
leave?
What happened to him?
Yeah,
He went
him and
from
Huberdeau went
Johnny
from
Hockey to nobody.
yeah, him and
What
Huberdeau
happened?
went from 115 points
Yeah.
2 years ago to like irrelevant players pretty much. now.
Huberdeau, I think, still got something in the tank.
I'm glad you think he does.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Gaudreau was one that was like, comparison, there was like that like craze for a while where
Yeah, well,
just
he was
hockey,
unreal.
dude.
Like
Yeah.
in that last year with Calgary, he was
Yeah.
a game breaker, our best player every night. You know, you don't score 115 points by accident.
No, you don't.
He was
Or
dynamic.
maybe you do.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, 40 goals as well, you know?
How many points did Hyman have this year?
Oh, man. I don't know, but he had 50 goals at least.
Yeah, well, we
Which
know
is
that.
unbelievable.
But I want to know if he. I can't.
I don't know if he
believe
eclipsed
did,
100.
Did he get the hundo?
I don't know if he
Hundo
got the
piece. Zach Hyman.
Get
Derek's
the-
looking it up for us.
Did he get the hundo?
How many points this season? 77 points.
Wow. So not many assists.
No,
for
I
the
mean
kid.
that makes sense because the puck was just bouncing off him into the back of the net.
Yeah.
He was just He was just an extension of McDavid's hockey stick, basically. He was just using
The
him like a
backdoor
board.
tap-in machine,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Not to take anything away from Zach Hyman because he was fantastic this year,
Yeah. He's a hell of a
especially in
player.
the playoffs, man. Ooh,
Yeah.
I miss him. I missed him as soon as we lost him in Toronto.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
The
What can
Oilers
you
will be back. Again, pains me to say, but they'll be back.
do? Well, we'll see.
Well, I
They
think
get-
they'll be fine.
If they get a proper Tendy situation going on.
Yeah, that's true. Stuart Skinner to the moon, I guess.
Are you a Stu Skin fan?
No, I think McDavid and Draisaitl can carry the load
But
despite.
clearly, he can't. I mean, Skinner played amazing until he didn't in the playoffs,
That's
and then
true.
what happened?
You're only as good as your weakest links, but
And that is the only player on the ice that plays the entire game is your weakest link. It's kind of tough
yeah,
to win
it's
a
true.
championship, right? Yeah, I don't know.
They get a goalie, then it's scary.
Yeah, but how are they gonna get a goal?
They don't have the money,
They
so-
don't got the money.
Yeah, someone's got to go.
They just got to get real lucky with some kind of prospect.
Do you think Draisaitl extends or is he gone?
You know, that's a very good question. I think because they got so close that they're gonna try to run it back, and with some caveats, they're gonna be pretty. If I were them, I would be a little tougher on management and be like, "Yo, fix this a little bit." They did say that a little bit with the defense when it wasn't up to par, and now Bush is becoming kind of a star.
He's a number one team man. Yeah,
right.
100%.
So because he's doing well now, like I don't know if that was just luck or that was intentionally they were trying to get something going with the defense. And now if they put the pressure on doing something between the pipes, either I don't know, unlock Skinner's full potential or find somebody who can actually take over.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough because goalies are so voodoo, right? Like I was talking about with Markstrom, 1 year they're good, 1 year they're bad. You never really know what you get for goalies that aren't in that elite tier. Like if you're not a Sorokin, a Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, it's hard to know what you're getting out of goalie a year-to-year basis. And even a game-to-game, Stuart Skinner's a game breaker one game.
Yeah, that's what I'm
horrible the
saying.
next
He had
game.
amazing games
Yeah.
in the playoffs, some of them, but then the other games he just was. Every game where he was the better goalie, they won.
Yes.
That was against Florida. Every single game he was the better goalie, they won. And when he wasn't, they lost. And I don't know if that's obviously they could have had some help with on the other end, but it's a huge part. But then you got some situations like Swayman and Allmark. Like both those guys are insane.
Yeah.
And Boston had both of them. And how does that happen? Why can't Swayman was just their development, right? How did they do that? How does Boston keep doing that? Why does Boston keep doing that?
Yeah, Boston just gets these guys out of the blue, man.
Their development is insane. They lose, arguably they're the best player. Well, one of their best players to retirement. And then they're still the best team in the NHL, basically.
And Krejci was gone
And Krejci's gone as well, yeah.
like
And
top two centermen.
everyone's talking about, okay, who's going to be in the playoffs this year from that division? And everyone's like, oh, the Bruins are not going to make it this year. And then they just kill it.
Yeah,
And
smoked the
they
Leafs
would have
again.
they would have won the division until that last game of the season, right? So it's like
It was crazy.
it's crazy. So I
Every
don't
year
know
they
what-
seem to do it.
they just have something in the water and up there in Harvard. They got some smart guys telling them what to do, I guess.
But the formulas
Yeah.
for the development.
So it's we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't think Edmonton's gonna win. I think that was their best chance. I think they got a hot Skinner, and they could have done it, but they didn't.
So that being said, who comes out of the West then? If it's not Edmonton, who's that dog in the West for you?
That is a good question. Oh, that's tough. We got to see how everything goes. I still think Dallas is really good.
Big time.
I think Dallas is super good. I don't just think they had a bad playoffs, but when Otter's on, like that's another thing. It's just the goalie, right? Like
Yeah.
he shuts the door and they can win any game. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
the
a good
Avs.
question. I'd have to think about it. I mean, the
we don't
Avs
forget the
obviously.
Avs,
like,
right?
just blanked on the Avs. Yeah, the Avs. It's gonna be the Avs. Yeah, it's
That's
got to be
fair.
the Avs. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got to
that's
be the Avs. They're clearly the best team, I think, in the West.
Yeah, and then the East is again. Florida could run it back, but there's other teams that are there too. You know, like you can't forget about Boston, like we talked about. You can't forget about Tampa. Obviously, Tampa lost a lot of guys.
Yeah,
But I mean,
think
they
Tampa made a
replenished. They
mistake.
replenished with Gensel.
Gensel, but is Gensel really? Is that gonna make up for everything?
I mean, the thing they got at all times is Vasilevsky, right? And
Always comes back to the Tendy.
Yeah, the Tendy is your guy, right? And
Yeah.
if he can put on a performance we've seen from him before,
Yeah.
there's always a chance.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping Leafs, I guess.
You know what? That's
Joseph Wall, man.
That's my second favorite team if I had to pick one. I kind of made myself into a
Interesting.
Leafs fan just because the boys. I wanted to be part of the squad. And when I went to Game 6, when Nylander scored the second goal, when he was the breakaway, went 5-hole.
Yeah.
I've never been in a more electric atmosphere in my
Okay.
life.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
seeing how passionate the fans are here, they deserve something. I think they get overhated and.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some real hate for this.
Yeah.
As a Calgary fan, you're defending Leafs fans.
Yeah,
They get too much hate.
I think they get too much hate because there's true passion and there's just so many of them. I think there's
Yeah. As a Leafs fan, I think we get the correct amount of hate.
You think so? Yeah.
Because there's so many shitty fans.
yeah
Like
That's
there's some
fair.
terrible people. Like there's some people that are just terrible fans, and they give a bad name to all of us. So I think we
That's
get
fair.
as much hate as we should. I don't enjoy the hate because I feel like I'm a reasonable Leafs fan. I can admit when we're, I'm not the plan the parade after the first week of the season when we go on a 3-game win streak. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're taking the cup home this year. No, that's not me, but
yeah
there are lots of guys who are like that. So I understand.
yeah.
But you as a Calgary fan, that's crazy.
We don't have a huge rivalry either, which helps, right? Like it's different conferences and stuff. Like I hate the Oilers, for example.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
that's why I was glad that the Panthers won. I was
Oh yeah,
pretty fired up. That would have hurt me
That would have
if
hurt you, but
if the Oilers won. But the Leafs, they don't really bother me. I love Matthews as a player. I think he's awesome. Nylander's awesome. I mean, Marner gets a lot of hate.
How do you feel about Marner?
I think
Outside perspective.
outside perspective is obviously great regular season player, but he's not great in the playoffs for what people expect out of him. So I think a trade makes sense. Like they got to shake something up, but Tree Living's your GM now. Flames fan. I know I don't love him. I can see him making a decision that's not going to be best for your future. Marner for 2 roster players rather than.
You think he would do that? I don't think so. I think there's too much scrutiny in Toronto to get away with something like that.
You think he would keep Marner before making a bad trade, or?
Yeah, well, Marner's got some no movement clauses, right?
That is true. So he has to say yes.
Yeah, so he has to say yes to this, and I don't see Marner wanting to leave Toronto for any reason.
Yeah.
And Toronto is so much scrutiny. I don't think there'll be some crazy terrible trade like that.
Yeah, and I hope that for your guys' sake because hopefully he made all of his bad decisions back in Calgary.
Yeah,
He's just a good GM now, but
I was very surprised by the hiring too.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't have the intimate knowledge like you do as a Calgary Flames guy, but
Yeah.
we needed to change something, and we'll see if this is a positive or a negative. Mitch Marner. I mean, I still got some faith in him. He's so skilled that he's got to be able to do something.
Yeah, it almost seems like he cares too much, if that even makes sense. Like I know when you're gripping the stick too hard or you're so fired up for the game, sometimes when you play more loose and it almost feels like you care less, it can Nylander plays like that. He
he
he's
looks
so
like he doesn't
calm
care. Yeah.
and that allows him to play free and to not worry about the height of a moment. Whereas I feel like Marner, he loves Toronto so much, he wants to do so well for Toronto that it can almost work backwards for him,
That's an interesting perspective.
I've noticed that when I play hockey, if I get too worried about a moment or how important a moment is, I feel like I don't play as well. So I think that could be what Marner's feeling.
That is an interesting perspective. I'm sure it's been talked about before, but I personally haven't really explored that idea that he's just too intense about being in Toronto and wanting to win for Toronto that it's actually being detrimental to his playing.
Because I know he loves it. There's no denying he loves
I don't
Toronto, loves hockey, wants, like you said, he has no movement clause, and I think if everything went his way, he'd play Toronto his whole career. I just think he's got to find that switch where it's it doesn't matter what the expectations are. I'm just going to be Mitch Marner every game, no matter if it's game 7 or if it's game 42, right?
Does he love Toronto enough to, in his next contract, ask for less money? then ask for the amount of money that he might be worth, or do you think he's worth what he's being paid right now?
I think that's a tough question because I think if he went on the open market when his contract expires, is it after this year? I think he has 1 year left.
Yeah, I believe one more year.
Like I think someone would pay him more than what he's getting paid now. That's just the market overpays for free agents that are good
Yeah.
and relatively young. Like you see, Jake Gensel makes $9 million. Marner's going to see that and be like, I'm worth better than Jake Gensel.
Yeah,
I want
but he's
more.
making more than $9 million right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
And that's pre-free agent. That's
Yeah.
what's it called? Just regular free agency, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I think I could see Marner making like 11.5, 12 million on the open market.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes like, is he open to taking 10 million or less to stay in Toronto because he's making almost 11 right now?
Exactly.
So,
That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily mean like is he willing to take less than what he has right now? More like, is he willing to take less than what he thinks he should be paid for his next contract? Because the next one's a big one usually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And does he think that does he love Toronto enough to be like, okay, I'll stay at 10 mil next year or almost
Yeah.
or 11 mil next year?
I could see that.
mean, when on my contract for my long term.
I could see that. Reason being, I believe he was like given a contract offer by the Columbus Blue Jackets when he was a RFA, like however long ago, like 2019. That was in like the $13 million range.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he's stuck with Toronto at a lower dollar. So I can see him taking less than what like
That was a bit of a troll situation though.
Yeah, I guess because Columbus has the money, they can just throw it up.
And they were offering everybody, right?
Yeah, so
so
that is true. It's a different situation, but I can see him, taking less money than a different team would offer him to stay with Toronto. But it's less money is not a lot of money. It's still going to be a double digit millions, right? And
yeah,
I don't know if that works in Toronto's cap system, especially with Nylander making 11.5 now. It's not.
But he's arguably worth it.
I think he is.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how they're going to manage having 4 double digit guys
Cap's
trying to
gone
run
up.
it back.
Cap's gone up. I know the Tavares situation that'll change hopefully. I don't know if he's I don't think he's going to be worth
Oh, definitely not.
What he's being paid right now. So
If he wants to come back, he'll definitely make less, like quite significantly less.
yeah,
And I think he's another guy. Like if they want to keep him, that's okay. If they don't, I don't think it's detrimental if he leaves either.
he's still a great, fantastic hockey
Yeah.
player, right? People are always, saying like terrible things about him and talking smack about him because he's getting paid what he's getting paid.
Yeah.
And but if you actually look at him, especially like playoff performance and just regular season as well, he's a solid player. He's a solid player. I don't have the stats exactly on the top of my head right now. I don't know. Are you looking up Tavares right now? Yeah, Tavares. So what was his last season? What were his totals?
29 goals, 36 assists, 65 points, 80 games played.
So yeah, so he's almost a 30-goal scorer,
Yeah.
which is not the value that he should be at right now, what he's getting paid for. But he also was playing. He was playing a lot of minutes for us, and he was. I don't remember if he was playing on the second power play unit.
He's probably playing power play.
Yeah, he was
regardless,
playing
right?
power play. But
Yeah.
I think he was on our second unit this year.
Okay.
I don't know. It's all jumbled in my brain now.
But either way, the point is, if
Yeah, he
he's
brings
making
value.
5-6 million,
Yeah,
he's a valuable player, right? It's
Yes,
just
exactly.
People see the contract and then it diminishes.
immediately diminishes it. And his playoff performances as well. He's come clutch for us a couple times. I mean, he scored our first time going past the season first series, right?
Yeah,
First round. And he's come up in big moments like that, and he's been physical, and he's been doing well. Not for what is it, 11 million?
11, yeah.
11. It's not worth it for 11 million. But I'd be happy to keep him. I don't think I'd be happy to keep him at 11 million though. But he probably would get 11 million on the open market.
You think so?
I think so for a short-term contract for some team looking to how much did Stamkos get this year?
He got 8, but he had 40 goals last year.
Oh, he got 8.
4 times 8 from
Actually,
Nashville.
you know what? 11's a little. He's not going to get 11 on the open market. You're right.
But yeah, maybe he gets like a 7 million on the open market, but Toronto wants him at 5.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking numbers-wise, he obviously doesn't have Stamkos numbers, but he's also hardier than Stamkos. Stamkos gets injured
True.
quite often.
Yeah.
And he misses a lot of games. Stamkos obviously a better scorer, but two-way game, I think Tavares is very good defensively as well.
He is, yes.
So if he goes to the open market, maybe someone like Nashville pays Tavares $7.5, $8 million for a few years, or he stays in Toronto and we offer him we're not gonna offer him 3.5 like we did to Stammer.
Little Tampa moment.
Little Tampa moment, but if he comes back for 4.5, 5 mil, I'd be happy with that.
100%. I think that's worth it, especially on a short-term deal. You can't go wrong, and that would help alleviate a lot of the cap issues, right? Essentially taking $7 million off the books, but keeping Tavares, that's a good deal.
I think so. I think that's how we win. And Joseph Wall becoming Joseph Wall.
Yeah,
I think
wall.
I think the brick wall coming through and becoming the starter in a good way. I think he's got a little more promise than Dustin Wolf at the moment. he's proven himself.
Yeah. Wolf's only played 20 games, right? So,
but he's actually good. I'm just talking smack. Wolf is actually pretty good. I do like him as a player. But yeah. Well, that's Toronto. That's Calgary. Now we know that you're sympathetic to Toronto, so you can never you can't show your face ever in Calgary again. Anyways, it was nice having you on. Good luck with the National. Hopefully you get some good deals. Hopefully you find a McDavid acetate rolling around somewhere. That would be a lot of fun. And keep us posted if you find anything cool, and we'll keep in touch about it. One last thing I want to say is just everybody can see. It's just some more of the merch that we're gonna be throwing up on the Slab Sharks portal, and you guys can get that. Last time I told you guys, you just send in consignments. You guys earn your shark coins, and once the shark coins accumulate to a certain value, you'll be able to spend those on our store, our merch store. Get stuff like this hoodie, the hoodie that I was wearing last episode, shirts like that, and some other goodies that will be revealed as the time goes on. But so thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on
the podcast, and we'll get you again next time you're back in the city.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks.